Not you, me. There you go. That's better. So let me just go back. So this is MEX. So I had this line marked out in yesterday's stream, and look, the price has come into the weekly level, and this is a historic weekly level that I identified from previous price action. And basically I was looking at these lows of this week, and I thought to myself, well, it's acted as resistance in the past here, support in the past here, resistance here. So I was expecting some kind of reaction. And if you look at how the price has come into the level and stopped, that was pretty good. Dare I say prediction, but it looks like I knew what was going to happen. I had no idea what was going to happen. On gate, it's come in slightly above that level. So every chart has their own little kind of nuances, which I've already explained. KuCoin is the best one because we were here yesterday and I said it looks like there's a little bit of a correction, and look what happened. It's basically doing what I almost predicted. I'm not even trading it. I'm just analyzing it and commenting on how the price is moving. And it's amazing. That was pretty amazing. It looks like I knew what was going to happen. I had no idea what was going to happen. I just thought to myself that it didn't make any sense for the price to just go down through these levels, these previous levels. Like, these levels aren't insignificant levels. And obviously you're back into this range, this volume range. And so you're coming back into volume levels, and so they're going to obviously act as offer a little bit of support. And then going back to the Bybit chart, so whereas in the other exchanges you have a little bit of low volume, we have this red sell candle here that corresponds to this candle here, and the volume that I see is 109,000 TRVL. And basically what I'm suggesting is that that amount of volume was bought. So even though it's a sell, it's actually a buy. It's a buy because someone has absorbed all of that price, and that is bullish. That's not bearish, that's bullish. It's bullish because the price hasn't dropped, and all of that TRVL has been absorbed by one buyer, by one order. And so if I was to go and have a look at the indicators, that's quite bullish. I think that's quite bullish. Someone sold and it was just bought. Now there is a strategy where you can sell and then scale back in if you're unsure. Yeah, so someone might have been like, I'm not sure, maybe the price is going to go down. I'm just going to sell a large amount and then I'm just going to scale back in. That's not a bad strategy, because if this person was right and the price did continue, then they'd have cheddar, they'd have dry powder, and they could just scale back in as the price dropped, and they're just improving their position. But the reality is that someone bought that, and so in my mind that's actually quite bullish. So that's the local price action. If I was to just, now what you can do, I don't mind these like fast drops, because in the future when the price goes up, there's no resistance, none whatsoever. Yeah, and that's kind of what you want. You want no resistance to go back up, because then you'll get really impulsive price action to go up. And the reason why, because it's just a low volume fast drop, very bearish, bullish, not bearish, bullish. Bullish in the sense that when the price does eventually go back up, it will just slice through that price level, these levels. So then what we can do is we can just expand this, just have a see what the volume is. So on Bybit, even when we're underneath this kind of weekly level that I've got marked, we're above the point of control. Price is being absorbed. That's good. And actually what I want to see on all of the exchanges today, if possible, is for the price to just close above this weekly level that I've marked. I think that would be quite good price action. Yeah, the price wasn't ready to go up, which is why we're back into this range. And even though arguably you could say that this is bearish because we go up range and come back down, what I can see from this range up here is that there wasn't really much volume put into this range. So in the future, if we do close here and go back up, don't really think there's going to be much resistance in this range. I can't see much. I can see there's really low volume. So that's something to bear in mind. And just looking at these other exchanges, well, on Gate, the point of control is slightly higher up. Okay, so it's dropped. Do you see how it dropped? So before the range was higher, and now that I've expanded this, the range is now lower. So actually that's quite bullish, except that we are at the point of control. The point of control is in the higher of the range, but we are at the point of control. We're just putting volume here now. So I don't think that's necessarily bearish, as long as we in the future are able to make that our support level and start working our way back up. That's kind of what you want to see. Now, I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen. But as I've said in the past, if we close roughly here on the weekly time frame, we'll be creating a weekly level. So we haven't printed our weekly level yet, but that's where our weekly level will be, where I've marked it. So that's our future weekly level. And I think that will be quite bullish, because we're now creating a liquidity level underneath us, and we've cleared the liquidity from the top. And so hopefully what you'll be hoping for next week is people to put their limit orders at this weekly level, so that if there's a little bit of a pullback, the orders will just get absorbed, and then the price will start working its way up. That's kind of what you want to see. And so if people have been paying attention to the levels that I've been drawing, if the weekly candle closes like this, we're creating a weekly level. And so next week would be quite an important week, because we need to see how the weekly candle closes next week. And ideally, you want to start moving up further. You want to start pushing up, ideally, and get out of this range and move into higher prices. And that will be really bullish, because what you've done is you've created market structure, and now the price is trading higher. And so this weekly market structure will in the future will act as a support. So if the price does go up next week, then if the price does come back down, you've created this kind of market structure of support for the future. If the price goes down, then we just have to see what happens. Like, no one can predict that, but there are levels underneath us, and we just have to see where the price finds support. No one can predict that. If the price goes down, I'll be buying more. I don't mind. I'm just gonna buy. I've just been buying, like, whenever you get dips, I just go and buy. I don't care. And I think a lot of people are in the same mentality. So there's a lot of things coming with this token, and at these levels, after seeing all of this, like 4 months, 3 months of market price action, I think people are really bullish. So the other thing I wanted to look at was the monthly chart. All right, so the monthly is closing quite soon. What chart are we on next? That's fine. Let me hide these. That's your 9-cent mark. We can get rid of that. Get rid of this channel. Let's just look at the candles. Right. I like to look at candles. it does make sense that the monthly potentially closes here. If you look at how the candles have structured, and let me just get rid of the volume as well. Let's just look at the candles. Just focus on the candles. This is the monthly time frame. It does make sense that we're kind of finding resistance here, because if you look how the price came down here, look, you see 3 months, 4 months, 5 months before we actually had a break. So as the price comes back up, we tried to come back up here once, failed, and now we're trying again. This is like the second attempt, potentially the third attempt, because we've already cleared it once, but that kind of just went through and it just ignored it. For some reason it ignored that level, but now we're back into that level now. So I think on the monthly time frame, I don't know if I'm expecting this. It wouldn't necessarily work in terms of the way these candles are forming. Potentially, like I think this is a good close. Potentially it's a good close, but we have to see what happens, because we've got 3 green months in a row now, and on the monthly time frame, our monthly order block is this red candle here. That's our monthly order block. So basically from there to there. So I don't know if we're going to get a pullback next month to just come back into that red candle to go up. I don't know. Or we just continue going up. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I don't know if this is bad the way it's looking right now. It would make sense for there to be a little bit of resistance here. But in the same way that there was resistance, we also need to just go through it. So you also need a little candle like that. And so if you look at how the price tried to get through that level with these drop candles, you had this wick that came into it, you had this expansion that pushed into it, you had a pullback. And so if we were to have a pullback month, for the sake of argument, it's just for the sake of argument, you're basically replicating this like a red month, and then you have green, and then you're off to the races potentially, and you kind of do this in reverse. So I'm just contemplating that. I don't know if that's going to behave that way or not, but there is definitely a higher time frame resistance here, and that's kind of why the price is struggling a little bit. You see, for the last 3 months we've struggled at this price range. Eventually, once we get above it, this whole kind of dividing line is going to be our support line eventually. And that's kind of what I was contemplating when I imagined my Wyckoff schematic. I was thinking to myself, although here on the Wyckoff schematic I've got it slightly higher up because I've got it at the 236, but it's an area, right? It's not specifically one line. I think that could be the lowest point of support eventually when we get through this level into higher prices, and then that's going to be really bullish. And actually what you kind of want is, once you get above that level, you just want one red month. That's kind of what you want. And I don't want the price to go down, but I wouldn't mind if the price went back down into support and held support with a red higher time frame candle. So when I'm contemplating the best price action for TRVL, I wouldn't mind for us to get above that level somewhere, maybe up to there, with a green candle, and then you have one red candle, which all it does is it comes back to test to fall back on this support line here. That would be really bullish. That would be like super bullish. And you're basically contemplating the idea of green March and a red April. I think it'd be weird though, because April is the halving month, and potentially a lot of altcoins are going to start pumping, but I don't think we should be phased by having a red month on the way up. Like, I think people need to understand that red candles are good when you create them on the way up. They're very healthy. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it would be nice to get some kind of red back test on this support line when we eventually break it. And then that will be a really good position to buy. Because effectively what you're doing then is you're buying a future order block, a future monthly order block. So that's what I wanted to say about TRVL really. I think, I don't think, unless there's any questions, has anyone got any thoughts about it? And as you can see, we've got this, this line. It's more easy to see on the, get rid of that can now. We're kind of into it now. It's a tricky situation, huh? Because we're into it, and you just want it to break and back test and then go up. That's what you want. And actually, when you see how the price broke here, it didn't back test for a while. So, you know, you almost want to break. But then that would be really weird. I don't know. No idea. But we're there. We're almost there. We're almost there, but we're still not there. Could we go down? It's a question. It's always possible to go down. Like, it's never not possible to go down. But when I see, you know, when I see the price getting absorbed, like on Bybit, I don't get that vibe. I don't get that down vibe. I'm not seeing it on the other exchanges, but on the Bybit it's very clear to see. See that? This candle. When I see that candle and you see the price is just still in the same place, that's like meh. It's like the seller got owned. So I don't really get down vibes when I see the price get absorbed in a very significant way like that. All right. I think that is anything. Is there anything else in TRVL? I think everyone's going to be really relieved when we get back above 9 cents and we hold that 9 cents to support. I mean, once we get into that situation, the vibe in Dtravel, the vibe in TRVL community is just going to be pumping, like literally. And so I don't know if people are worried that the price is going to go down or not. I don't get that vibe, but I think there's going to be a lot of like jubilation once we get past this level, and then we just have to see what happens. And for me, the real achievement for the bulls will be to take this high out. That will be the biggest achievement in this time frame, because that will be a higher high on the weekly time frame. That's what I want to see. And when we make a higher high on the weekly time frame, I'll be looking for a higher low. Then my focus will be, where's the higher low going to be? Because that will be the next task at hand. And what's what we want to achieve? We want to get there. We're going to make a higher high, make a higher low somewhere, and then we want to take out that high as bulls. And what we're doing now when we create that market structure is for anyone who knows about technical analysis, they'll look at that and they'll go, wow, this is really bullish. The whole market will be looking at this price action and going, wow, this is really bullish price action. I want to get involved. I want to start buying the dips, because you're making higher highs, you're making higher lows. Everyone wants to participate in that, especially in the context of the bull market. And like the other thing people want to see is they want to see increasing in an increased volume. So right now on Bybit, you can clearly see there's an increase in volume. And what would be nice in the future is that that volume continues to increase. And so in the future, what I'm imagining is the volume up there on Bybit. So it's kind of powering up. Let me see on the other exchanges. So on KuCoin, it's, apart from this one big spike, it's pretty much steady. On Gate, apart, because the problem with Gate is the results are skewed because there was a large amount of volume back in 22, but there is an increase. You see that there's a little bit of an increase, and then on MEX, MEX has been quite steady. What you want to see is now increases in volume. We want to see that, and let's just see if that happens or not. All right, that's TRVL. So there's two things I wanted to do. I wanted to chart. What did I post in my Twitter?